Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for your second Chelsea news video of the day. We got loads of updates to go through here today. Chelsea have signed another new winger. We're going to give the latest on Alejandro Garnacho because whether you love this or you hate this, I think the reality is Garnacho to Chelsea keeps gathering momentum. I want to talk about what it means for Xavi Simons, and we also have to discuss a loan move for Guiu, Chelsea linked to another midfielder. There is tons of stuff to go through here in this Chelsea news video. So make sure you get yourselves locked in. Smash the like button if you haven't already done so when you clicked on the vid. Subscribe if you are new. And as well as that, if you want to buy anything from the Chelsea Megastore this summer, the discount code is GBFC10 for every single product on the Megastore. Even if it's already on sale, you get an additional 10% off with the code GBFC10. Link down below, QR code on the screen. But without any further ado, let's go and have a look at Chelsea's plan for Estêvão Willian. Because I've said this already over the course of the last few days, as much as we're excited about Hato to Chelsea, here we go, Xavi Simons to Chelsea, we want that to be the next deal. This guy scored a remarkable goal against us in the World Cup, and now he's joining Chelsea. This was him at the end of the game against Palmeiras with Cole Palmer, Delap, and Dario Asugo, who looks like he's literally just met his idol there, which is fantastic. Chelsea winger Estêvão Willian will meet his teammates when they return to the UK on Monday, the 4th of August, following their Club World Cup triumph. So the Chelsea players have literally got 4 days in pre-season training before the first friendly. So I'm not expecting too much in those games, I won't lie. The 18-year-old cost an initial £29 million, rising to £51 million as Chelsea beat a host of other teams to the youngster's signature, notably Paris Saint-Germain, who produced a rival bid, along with Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Bayern Munich. If this doesn't remind you about the excitement behind this kid, beating PSG, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern to Estêvão's signature, if you're not excited about this lad, you've been living under a rock. He's the real deal. The choice to join Chelsea was driven by belief in their project, as well as the offer of a substantial role in his first season as Estêvão aims to join the Brazil national team for the next World Cup in 2026. With Chelsea having this incredible squad depth, there is added impetus for every single player in this squad this season to be given 101%. Let's not use too much hyperbole, but 101% is what we're going to go for. Every player pretty much in the Chelsea squad will have ambitions to go to the World Cup next year in Mexico, Canada, and the United States. So as much as we might have 2 players per position, I think the competition is going to drive this squad up even further. But let's keep going throughout this Nizar Kinsella article. That said, there is also the expectation he will be signed easily initially, but that he could quickly become a starter if he impresses in training. Not entirely sure I understand the wording of that, but we'll move. Defender Thiago Silva was among those who met Estêvão before he chose Chelsea in 2024, but manager Maresca also spoke with him during a meeting during the Club World Cup in the States. Chelsea are ready to help Estêvão settle in, as he will arrive early to find a place in London and the surrounding area. Estêvão does not speak English, but Maresca is fluent in several languages and reportedly managed to communicate with the striker in a mix of Portuguese and Spanish. There is also optimism that Estêvão will adapt quickly to English life, as he does not drink and is known for being a laid-back person. He will also have his family with him as he escapes the unique pressures of Brazilian football. So this is interesting at the bottom. He'll fit in quickly to English life because he doesn't drink. Now, I think I understand what they mean here. He means basically there's no distractions for Estêvão. So it's all going to be about the football if we just highlight that bottom paragraph again. This is great news. I've seen a lot of videos going around recently of Estêvão in Brazil. He's clearly religious and he's got a very close-knit group within his family. This is everything when it comes to the makeup of a footballer that bodes very well. When you're a youngster and you've obviously got money coming your way, you've probably got women coming your way too, it's always great when you see that the player is firmly rooted within family life. And if he's not going out drinking, those London distractions, don't worry about them. Estêvão is coming here to absolutely take over at Chelsea, and I cannot wait to see it. Will we see him make his debut against AC Milan or Bayer Leverkusen? I am sure that we will see him at least feature in some of those games. The question about those preseason friendlies is, because it's so close to the start of the season, are we going to literally just see like Maresca's just getting this job done, like get these friendlies out the way? Is this going to be what Maresca's Palace lineup will look like come the second friendly? It's so interesting to see. But let's move now into the latest here. Official, Jesse Derry leaves Crystal Palace and joins Chelsea. Agreement sealed. So we had a here we go for Yoral Hato yesterday, and today, Chelsea Football Club, at the end of July, we have got another signing in. And this is Jesse Derry holding up the number 10 shirt at Chelsea. And just to clarify here, this doesn't mean that he's going to be taking Cole Palmer's number 10. It's for the development squad. So Jesse Derry probably won't feature for Chelsea in the first team this season. A lot of people are saying a lot of good things about him. So once again, Chelsea snapping up that young talent, and let's see what happens in the future. Will he make it in the Chelsea first team? But the development squad looks most likely for next season. Let's move now into the next piece of news. This is a great piece of news here. Exclusive from Fabrizio. Sunderland agreed deal to sign Mark Guiu on loan from Chelsea. Here we go. Deal in place for straight loan. No buy option clause, as Guiu remains part of Chelsea long-term plans. Salary covered by Sunderland, as he'll be an important striker for Le Bré's plans. So this is big. This is a great move for Mark Guiu. I put a poll out in the GBFC watch-along saying, would you rather send Mark Guiu to like a mid-table promotion-chasing championship team, or a team that are probably going to be fighting relegation in the Prem? And it was about 50-50. Now, there is an element of this where if Mark Guiu doesn't get starting minutes and other Sunderland strikers do take priority because Guiu's just on loan, then maybe this could be another similar Andre Santos to Forest loan. You remember that? When Santos went to Forest and basically never played for them because they had so many signings and so many midfielders. There could be an element of this which is the case, but I think this could also be fantastic. It might have been a bit better to see how Mark Guiu coped in a team that would have a bit more of the ball, but considering how much running he does, I think Sunderland fans are going to absolutely love seeing Mark Guiu pressing, chasing the ball down, hounding defenders as soon as Premier League teams are going to be playing out from the back. I think this could be a really good piece of business for Mark Guiu. Obviously, the plan will be to focus on the team and staying in the Premier League for Sunderland next year. But in terms of what would be considered progress, I think just getting as many minutes of football in the Premier League as possible is going to be beneficial here to Mark Guiu, because I've seen enough from him at his time at Chelsea to suggest that, 5 million quid, 6 million euros that we spent on him from Barcelona is really good business. And again, even if it's a loan move for the shop window next summer, because we've got Dastan Satpayev, the young Kazakh striker, joining us next summer. Emmanuel Emiga. We've also heard talks that Chelsea are working on pre-contractual agreements with Strasbourg to bring him to Chelsea next summer. So it's going to be really difficult. So this is the move where it's literally like, go on then, go out there and prove yourself. This is a fantastic piece of business, I think. Good luck to Mark Guiu, and also good luck to Sunderland. I think this is a player that I really like, so I'm going to be keeping a close eye on how he does this season. So let's take a little look now at this article from Matt Law today in The Telegraph, because it does give us a lot of updates on Chelsea's move for Alejandro Garnacho and also what this means regarding Xavi Simons. So, Argentine has been a long-term target after being bombed out of the Man United first team by head coach Ruben Amorim. And this is, of course, a face that we know in football as Alejandro Garnacho. Let's move now and scroll down and read this. Chelsea have no concerns over the character of transfer target Alejandro Garnacho after carrying out a series of background checks on the out-of-favour Man United winger. Garnacho has been a long-term target of Chelsea, who are understood to be the favoured destination of the Argentine. Chelsea are expected to make an offer for Garnacho before the transfer window shuts, but may also have to wait for United's search for a new striker to come to an end, with the Old Trafford club hoping to sign Benjamin Sesko. So I do think at the minute there is obviously a lot of talk, and we spoke about this morning, that Nicholas Jackson could well be a big key figure in what happens for Chelsea this summer, with going for both Simons and also Garnacho, because Chelsea need to offload attackers in order to bring more attackers in. Now, this is also, I think, something to do with the registration with UEFA, as well as obviously the finances of the deal. Chelsea don't want to have multiple players surplus to requirements that they're paying wages for. So we're looking to offload Nkunku, Armando Broja, maybe Nicholas Jackson as well, before we see the Xavi Simons and Garnacho deals done. So let's move back into the article here. Chelsea also need to make sales or loan players to create more space for more attackers. We've just spoken about this. Chelsea have held talks over signing Leipzig's Javi Simons, but his arrival would not shut the door on a move for Garnacho if the club can make room for both players. Yoel Hato is poised to complete his move. Garnacho has been bombed out of the United first team by head coach Ruben Amorim, but Chelsea have not been put off by his Old Trafford fallout. There's also the latest here from Matt Law on the fact that there is no move for Javi Simons. And if we read this, it's basically at the minute because Chelsea is still optimistic, but we do need to offload players, potentially Tyreek George on loan, Chukwuemeka, who Chelsea are looking to sell. And then there's also the situation with Nicholas Jackson, with Newcastle and Juventus potentially needing strikers. Guiu has been lined up to join Sunderland. That's now confirmed. And Leslie Ugochukwu can also leave permanently. So, looks to me as though Chelsea is still working on Javi Simons. There isn't any real updates there. But the Garnacho news, it just does keep gathering steam. People are still talking about it. Ben Jacobs has reported it again. Fabrizio's also been reposting stuff here. This was from July the 23rd, but he reposted this a couple of hours ago. Garnacho wants Premier League move and Chelsea remain again attentive to the situation. No club-to-club talks, but still one of the names on the list. Priority remains to advance on Javi Simons at this stage. Fabrizio reposted this today. So basically a week and a little bit on from that news, Chelsea still want both players. And they're probably just waiting to see what happens for Manchester United to understand the finances of the Garnacho deal. Chelsea don't want to move on United's terms. They only want it to be on our terms, which is great stuff for Chelsea. I'm not that bothered if we do or don't sign Garnacho anymore. If he signs, I'll back him. I'll support him. Of course I will. But just we bloody pray that he doesn't bring any of that baggage with him from Manchester United. Simons is still there, still a target. Chelsea working on it. But let's move now into the rest of the news. From Nicholas Jackson. I am a Chelsea player. The future belongs to God. If there is a change, you will be aware. For the moment, I am focused on my preparation. And then he also says this, competition, I don't have a competitor. We are all here to help the club. Everyone has their role to play. I'm on a mission. It's up to the coach to make his choices. I only focus on my work. Hallelujah. This is great from Nicholas Jackson. There isn't any kind of making anyone feel sorry for him, that it looks as though he's gone to third in the Chelsea pecking order. He's on the tip of the tongue of many different Premier League clubs and Juventus and countless others in Europe, but is he anyone's number one choice? Doesn't look like it at the moment. I think this is a great attitude for Nicholas Jackson because he knows that minutes this season are not just going to be given to him willy-nilly, because that might have been part of the problem, you know. Last year, particularly, not having any serious competition, he knew that he was always going to be the starting striker, so there wasn't any repercussion for dips in form. Even with the red cards towards the end of the season, it was the end of the season, so you couldn't really see much of a difference, although we clearly did see the difference. After the red card against Flamengo, it made sure that Delap and Pedro were getting minutes as soon as they were brought in, basically. And lo and behold, they were absolutely brilliant during those minutes. So I think this is a strong show of resoluteness, really, within Nicholas Jackson, that he doesn't want to leave Chelsea. I think we know this. And he wants to make it here. Bring on the competition. Or what competition? As he says himself. So this is all good stuff. Moving now into the next piece of news. Contrary to reports in recent podcasts, is from Lou Class, Chelsea's short-term front shirt sponsorship deal with Damac was worth around 6 to 7 million last season. This meant a revenue of £1 million per match. This is great. As much as it was a little bit like, why don't we have a front of shirt sponsor? And even now, a lot of you guys are saying to me, Benson, where is the front of shirt sponsorship? I don't know, mate. We've been hearing the same things over and over again. Like, we're talking to many companies. Chelsea will be looking to get the best deal possible here. With Champions League football being the champions of the world, that absolutely skyrockets Chelsea's valuation for what that front of shirt sponsorship is. So again, people that belittled winning the Club World Cup, yeah, it's difficult to turn your nose up at 100 million quid, mate, isn't it? But at the same time, it's all of the additionals that come on top of that. Players will want to join Chelsea. because we're world champions, because we're back in the Champions League, because our manager in his first season won 2 bloody trophies. Now, one player that is certainly not going to be a part of Chelsea's future plans as of right now is Mudryk. And finance expert Stefen Borsen has spoken on the Mudryk case, and it just gets a little bit uglier, this, to be honest. It's slightly different to the Mutu case because that was another Class A. From what we can gather, this is a performance enhancer. I think it is possible they could sue, being Chelsea, potentially suing Mudryk. It's probably unlikely, but it is possible. Remember, there's a lot of money at stake here. If he is banned for most of his career, Chelsea's losses are absolutely enormous on this deal. And this is obviously true, right? Obviously for Mudryk, you got to look at it from the human element here. He's a professional footballer. Whether he has knowingly taken illegal substances or not, he's pleading his innocence to this. He says he's not guilty of knowingly taking something, but clearly the tests show that he has taken something. So it must be incredibly hard for Mudryk to know that he might not play football again competitively for many years when he was at that point in his career where we were all just waiting for that fuse to be lit and him to go. And it is unfortunate, but also financially here for Chelsea, this is a big problem. Mudryk was an incredibly expensive signing, not as expensive as a lot of other footballing reporters will let you know, because as we know, when Chelsea spend money on players, the fees get blown up a little bit compared to other clubs where we like to take money out of it so that it looks cheaper. Remember, Chelsea are always the ones where this happens. So in Mudryk's case, this has been very poor business for Chelsea because he didn't explode at Chelsea. Now he's got a flipping drug ban. It's a nightmare, to be quite honest. But I am going to keep saying it until there is any real conclusive... I mean, there is conclusive evidence. The tests have come back and they're not good news. But I just think there's something not quite right about all of this. As in, there's definitely something, in my opinion, where there's untoward happening. But I don't want to talk about it anymore. But Chelsea could potentially sue Mudryk, which would just be a really sour ending to this entire story. Let's move now into this. Chelsea are preparing an offer to Club Brugge for Ardon Yashari, who is a central midfielder, defensive midfielder, valued on Transfermarkt at around 32 million euros. This comes from Sasha Tavalieri. If there was one position that I think I've spoken about at great length and detail on GBFC this year and this summer that we do not need to strengthen in, it's 100% the central midfield position. I don't think Chelsea need to be going anywhere near a central midfielder this summer. So I'm just going to park that. We're not going to talk about it too much more. If you guys did enjoy this Chelsea news video, make sure you do smack a like on it and subscribe to GBFC. And as I said at the start of the video, if you do want to buy anything from the Megastore this summer, GBFC10 is the code that gets you 10% off everything. The QR code is on the screen and a link is in the description. I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date with all the latest on Garnacho, Xavi Simons, and goodness knows what else in the Chelsea transfer stratosphere. I'll speak to you guys later. Come on, you Blues.